Hi, my name's Denise McCabe and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia on the New South Wales Central Coast, and this is my card and cuppa for Friday the 11th of August. Today we're going to do a fun technique called crumpled scrunchy card. I saw this technique over on Frenchie Stamps YouTube channel, and I just had to give it a go because it's really cool, and yeah, I loved it. So let's switch down to the craft desk and we can get started. Okay, so this is my card. Now, when Frenchie made it, she used the crab from the Seaside Bay bundle, but I didn't want to copy hers exactly, so I've used the bird. I'm not quite sure what it is, what sort of bird it is, and I've stamped and die cut some of the shells out. Yeah, so it's really cool. Doesn't it look grungy and cool? I love it. I stamped the sentiment with the Biggest Wish stamp set, and then I just fussy cut around it. We might use other ones out of the Biggest Wish, so it's not exactly the same. And I might not use the bird today. I might use the three birds. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's really cool, and it's such an easy, simple technique, and it has a really good grungy look. So let's get started. So all you need for this card is your normal A5 card base. This one I'm using Tahitian Tide. I used Azure Afternoon on this card. Now this piece measures 9.5 by 13.4, and this piece measures 9 centimeters by 12.9 centimeters. So I've done it in centimeters because that's what we use here in Australia. So, and that just gives you a slightly bigger border around your card, on your card base. So let's get a bit of scrap paper up and put those ones aside. So I've got Tahitian Tide, and I've got crumb cake, and I've got our blending brushes. So what I'm going to do is load my blending brush up with crumb cake, and I'm just going to go back and forth about 2/3 of the way up the piece of cardstock. And you can just load up your brush again if you want it a bit darker. And it doesn't matter if you've got this sort of effect, because it gets grungier. so that's our crumb cake. This is Tahitian Tide. This is one of the last year's in colours, and I'm going to turn it around just because I'm a bit strange and I work better that way. And I'm just loading my brush up, my blue blending brush up, and going down. I've got a croak in my throat again. Oh, look at that. That's because I stopped. I'm sure it won't matter. So just load your brush up and just put enough ink on there that you're happy with. That won't matter. Normally that would, but for this technique I don't think it will. I'm just going to leave a little bit of white here for the horizon. Okay, so I'll close that up. But we will need that again. I swear, every time I start a video, I get a frog in my throat. Okay, so I'm just going to get my crumb cake out, and I'm going to stamp this little speckled, you know, speckled stamp. I don't know what dottage. I think that's what Linda, my upline, calls it. A dottage. So I'm just going to ink that up with crumb cake, and I'm just going to do some dottage around here, because I thought I would use these little birds this time. So I think that's enough dottage. Maybe one there. So I'll put that to one side. So I've had to pre-record this because I'm catching up with a friend down in Sydney today, Friday the 11th. So I've pre-recorded it, and my scheduling last week seemed to work. So yay, so I'll do it again. Okay, now we're going to turn our cardstock over, and with a mister, a spritzer or mister with water in it, we're just going to, and because I've picked one up that doesn't spritz, go me. That's fine, that's a water one, there's not much left in this one. We're just going to mist the back of our cardstock, and that just breaks the fibres up a little bit, because then we're going to turn it over and we're going to screw it up. So if you're not a scruncher or a tearer with your card making, this is really going to freak you out. But it's okay, because look, you can get a nice card out of it. Okay, just open that back up a bit. The water just softens it, softens the fibres, so you can really scrunch. Okay, let's just open that back up a bit. Okay, so then we're going to bring our blending brushes back in. I don't think I need to put any more ink on them, and we're just going to run over run over the cardstock again. And your brush will just pick up the raised bits, just like when you emboss with an embossing folder. And like that splodge there, it doesn't really matter because it's so grungy. I'm just going to get a little bit more crumb cake. There we go. Okay. I know you're probably all going, oh my god, what is she doing? Okay, so that is what we've done on the background here. So I'm going to attach it to my piece of Tahitian Tide. And I'm going to use my liquid glue, my multi-purpose liquid glue. Just because it's a little bit more forgiving with it all being crumpled up and textured now. You can press it down a little bit better on your card matting piece. So it has shrunk a little bit because we've been a bit rough. We've manhandled it. Okay, so just gonna turn it over and press down. Sorry about my throat. There we go. Okay, so that's that. And I know some of you out there are going, oh my god, I can't believe she did that. I'm going to have a sip of water again. Now, I am just going to attach that with my glue to my card base. There we go. Get my card base back in. And just center it with a border, even border all the way around, and press it down. Now your crumpled cardstock still might not be sitting flat, but you don't want to sort of have it too flat. You want it to be crumpled and grungy. There we go. Okay, I can get rid of that. Pretty sure. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in some cardstock to do our stamping on. And these little fellows, I need a bit of a long block for that. Now, I might get a Misty Moonlight out because that seems to be a good one to have. And I'm just going to stamp these down here. I don't need my piercing mat because these are cling stamps and they don't need it. Okay. I am going to grab my Petal Pink blend. And just like on this one, I'm just going to give them a little bit of pink on their tummies. And then with my, where is it, Winker Stella, which I just want to be a little bit careful of because it's a new one. And I don't want any nasty business happening. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit of Winker Stella on the birds, and that also just blends the ink. It sort of colours as well as gives a bit of sparkle. I'm not fussing too much about the colouring. So the birds have got a bit of sparkle, which sort of to me represents their wet. They've had a bit of a splash in the water. Okay, I'm just getting the dye, and I'll grab my little mini cut emboss machine so we can die cut our birds out. Didn't think I had all the plates, but I do. So grab that, and I will need a little bit of my masking tape. There we go. Oh, now I will need to cut this down too. You know what? I'm just going to grab my trimmer. There we go. And now I've dropped my die. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to line this up on my birds. Because I want, so this cuts them out individually. So if my head's coming in, I'm just trying to line it up so that, there we go. And I'll just use this to secure it down so my die won't move. And put the one in on top and wind that through. And here's my little birdies all cut out. So let's bring a little, maybe put him up here, and down here, and him here. I'm not going to worry about the shells tonight. How cute is that? It's so cute. Okay, so I will get rid of. Now, will I put the birdies up on dimensionals, or will I might put this one flat and this one, these ones up on dimensionals. So let me just get a little bit of glue for this guy, because he'll be sort of, you know, more in a distance. There we go. So I'll just hold him down for a minute. And then I think these are going to be too big. They are. We'll need mini dimensionals for these ones. Or you could cut a big one in half. That would work. So I'm going to put two on the back of him. and pop him down there. And this one, I don't know whether he'll need two or whether, oh yeah, two might be a good idea. There we go. As I said in one of my previous videos, any chance I can get to do something that's ocean related, I do. Okay, so there are little birdies waddling along on the sand. And just mop up a bit of glue here. And now I've got a few scraps of white cardstock here that I can do some stamping on. Okay, so I'll just move that one out to there. Now this one I use the cursive font. This one I thought I might do just the big happy and maybe the big birthday inside, because that's just too big for the front of a card, I feel. So we might do yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So let's grab a block here, put that there, and I shall do this in the Misty Moonlight, I think. Yeah, I think I will. Now this is where I do need my mat. And I'm going to use this piece because I think that's just a touch too skinny. Okay, let's just go like so. Oh, look how nice that is. Oh. And where are my paper snips? So I could just, no, I will sort of fussy cut around this, even though it's not really fussy cutting. But instead of just doing a block, we'll go sort of around the shape of the letters, kind of. Not really. Just around the Y. Why? Because I wanted to. Okay, that can go in the bin. Okay, so that will go there. And I think I'll do that with glue and push that down onto my crumpled piece of card front. So don't be afraid to crumple, crumple or tear your cardstock, because you can get some cool effects, cool techniques. And let me just hold that down a little bit longer. And that's only because this is a bit crumpled underneath. So let's get, I'll grab this block. Birthday. And I'll need this back in here. So I'm just inking up my birthday. It came off the block. So let's hope it doesn't drop off the block. And I'm going to put it down here and hope it works, because it's straight onto the card. Pretty good. And I might get a big birdie and stamp him there, just for the fun of it. Put him up a little bit so he's not crashing into the word. I didn't need my paper piercing mat then. That's okay. Let's fold this up. Keep all my dirty stamps away. And I've still got my Stella. What did it? Here it is. So we're just going to run over this with my Stella. And put a bit of pink in here. That's the mama bird on the inside, looking for her little babies. It's just a bit of fun. So that's that, and let me get my bling down, because these beautiful pearls were part of this sweet collection when it first came out, the flat backed pearls, and they're pretty cool. So let's grab here it is. Okay, so I just put a few of them down here on this one. I don't know if you can see it, but they're cool. They're really nice, and they're pearly. They're pearlescent-y. I'm not sure about a big one though. I don't think I'll do a big one. So I might just put one over there. Maybe one down here. Maybe one here. So that's pretty much it for our grungy technique. I'm not sure if I like just the happy on the front, but it's just a bit different. I think I prefer this one with the happy birthday, but I wasn't going to try and fussy cut around that and bore you to tears. But yeah, it's super cool little fun technique, and I don't know, I like it. It's just a bit different, and it's not something you'd want to do every time, but it's just a bit different and fun. So I hope you, hang on, let me find my mouse. I think my mouse falls off the planet when I'm doing these videos sometimes. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed that. So that's our card for Card and a Cuppa today. This is the one we made. I hope you enjoyed that. They're a bit, I can never work out which way I'm going. They're a bit funny. I'm not sure if the birthday would have looked better on there. Anyway, we can play. So I hope you enjoyed that, and have a great afternoon, and I'll see you on Monday for my Makeup Monday. Bye for now.